Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Devil's Candy, The Anatomy of a Hollywood Fiasco by Julie Salamon, narrated by Julie Salamon. For Bill, Roxy, and Eli. Prologue. A genteel murmur presided in the dining room of the Carlyle Hotel at 76th and Madison Avenue on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. There was, naturally, a certain bustle at breakfast as the well-groomed patrons of this refined enclave made their way to the buffet table. But there was none of the purposeful table hopping that was so noticeable at Park Avenue's Regency Hotel, known for the power breakfasts of its Wall Street and entertainment industry clientele. Discretion ruled the Carlyle, where the bellhops wore white gloves and the opulence was obvious, yet understated, and the mood cheery, yet subdued. Dominating the center of the room was a huge Japanese iron vase filled with a luxurious spray of bright flowers. The walls were covered with subtle brown linen velvet and 19th century English hunting prints. For more intimate conversation, one could move into one of the smaller offshoots of the main room, into the smoking room with its fussy, fabric-lined walls and 18th century French redoute floral prints, or into the Chinese room, named for its decorative oriental silk screens. Everything was just so. The china was Villeroy and Bach, the silver was Chambly. The Louis XV furniture completed the sensation that manners as well as money still mattered here. This stronghold of Lux Victoriana was one of the few places in New York City circa 1990 where Tom Wolfe didn't look like an anachronism. Dressed distinctively as always in a three-piece gray plaid suit, a cream-colored shirt with an old-fashioned high-necked cut, and shoes designed to look as though they sported spats, he spoke in a mild voice touched slightly by a Virginia accent. With his soft, pale face and fine graying hair, the author appeared delicate, slightly otherworldly. It was difficult to connect this frail, courtly gentleman with the glinting satirical wit that had made him one of the most famous writers in America. Could this meticulous dandy really be the same man who composed the sixth spoken line in the best-selling novel, The Bonfire of the Vanities? That was it, the entire thought. And Bonfire was only the latest example of Wolfe's singular style. For 25 years as a journalist, he'd gleefully jabbed at the pretensions of the American middle and upper classes, especially the New York intelligentsia. He'd merrily debunked the New Yorker, the Bauhaus movement, liberal chic, and Freud with uniquely rambunctious prose and enthusiastic punctuation. That morning, the slender, contradictory man was eating grain cereal with stewed fruit and speaking in a thoughtful, slightly formal fashion about how the people from Hollywood were progressing with the movie version of The Bonfire of the Vanities. He mentioned diplomatically that they were being attentive to details. "I must confess I get my shoes made at New and Langwood," Wolfe said, dropping the name of the London fabricator of $2,000 a pair men's shoes with his cultivated mixture of snobbery and modesty. And the salesman was here in New York, and he said that Tom Hanks had arrived and wanted 2 pairs of shoes for the movie. Tom Hanks, or whoever was buying shoes for him, and asked the salesman what kind should we get. And the salesman says, well, in the book it says half brogues, and the movie person says, okay, give us those. I was rather impressed by that because, unless they make a point of it in the script to have the camera focus on the shoes, who's going to know? You have to have a very picky eye like myself to sit around and figure out where the shoes are from. They seem to be concerned with accuracy, in certain respects. He wasn't willing to criticize the movie makers,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?